What's up? Welcome in on this hump day, January 28th, 2026. Guys, we're almost out of freaking January already. It seems like just the other day we were watching Jalen Carter spit on Dak Prescott, and now we are, a week and a half away from the Super Bowl. A lot of shit's going on in the sports world. I am tracking a goofy bet tonight. We'll keep you updated on that just because that's the only way I can keep track of the goofy bet tonight. Plenty of stuff to talk about. As always, Wednesday night is hockey night on this program. We'll get into plenty of stuff because there's some weird-ass shit going on in the NHL. But as always, from the middle to the overside, Vegas Mac, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, and just like Patrick Reed, I'm back.
Well, not yet.
Yeah, almost.
I love Patrick Reed being back because Patrick Reed is an asshole, and we need more assholes to root against in golf. Speaking of assholes who are not good golfers, TJ, how are you, buddy?
I'm blinded by that Red Sox, whatever that is in the middle here. Holy smokes. Is it that time already?
Mac wants it to be that time. I mean, we did, T, you missed it last night. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but we have calmed Vegas Mac on the Mike McCarthy to Pittsburgh thing. He was warm to it last night, so we're getting somewhere there. And then there's other teams like the Cleveland Browns. And why waste any time tonight? Let's get right into some headlines. And only the Cleveland Browns could screw up a perfectly good thing. If you didn't hear today, Todd Monken, the old offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, is now the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. And you'd go, here we go with this bullshit again. You'd go, oh, well, good hire. I mean, you got Jim Schwartz. No. Not so fast, my friends. Jim Schwartz basically told players and people within the organization if he didn't get the head coaching job that he was out. And the only reason that Cleveland has been even worth a damn to pay attention to the last couple of years has been because of this defense. So not only did the Browns hire a new coach, and this sucks for Todd Monken, guys, because he's getting in new head coach. Things look like they're going to be great. And then here, and this comes from John Ledard on X, a truly incredible debacle for the Browns. Told head coaching candidates that they needed to keep Jim Schwartz, turning many of those candidates away as a result. Finally found a candidate who would want to keep Jim Schwartz and hired him, only to have Schwartz tell them basically to go screw themselves. The Cleveland Browns, folks. The Cleveland Browns. Mac, I know you always have so many positive things to say about the Browns, so I'll let you go first on this one, and then we'll let TJ slide in because I've been waiting for TJ's take on this all day, to be honest with you.
My initial take is this. I mean, listen, he's got a Pro Bowl quarterback in Shedeur Sanders to work with. And so, I mean, things have got to look up for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they're going in the right direction. This is great for the AFC North. I'm behind it 100%.
T again, hazard pays in the mail for following Vegas Mac. What do you think of this Browns situation?
Like what are they doing?
They don't know.
Exactly. Like who? Like I have no idea who this is. I mean, I guess if you had Lamar Jackson coming with you, that this might be a good move. But, I don't think Slim Shedeur is any Lamar Jackson at this point. But I don't know. If you think the Browns are screwing it up, just wait till they do. Wait till you see what they do in Vegas. And I'm sure we'll all forget about this thing. We'll just forget about it. It'll be and this guy will go 7-10, and it'll be the greatest thing on Lake Erie.
T, we talked last night and we said, the three teams that had coaches remaining, Arizona, Cleveland, and Las Vegas. We talked about this yesterday. We said, it's funny. It's like, what do these three teams have in common? And it's the whole idea is their identity. Like, what is the identity of these three teams? And we're I don't, who knows, right? I'm and this is kind of like case in point, Mike, right? They kind of made our point. What is now the identity of the Cleveland Browns with this hire? I don't get it. It's like these teams continue to screw it up, and I've said it before. They're just organizations that are in like this hamster wheel, and they just keep going round and round and round and round and round, and they can't find a way to get out of it.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing too, and again, Todd Monken's going to get crapped on in this process. Todd Monken's a good football coach. He's been around for a long time. He's got over 3 decades of experience at the college level. Obviously, most recently with the Ravens, he knows the division well. Cleveland is a job that not a lot of people want. The really humorous thing, and we've heard the stories that Cleveland wants you to basically, as a prospective head coach, come in and fill out like the draft combine kind of survey and essay and everything, which is going to turn people off naturally. Second, this is the really funny thing, is they hired a search firm to help them with the head coaching search. They had Nate Scheelhaase in-house, the Rams passing game coordinator, basically Sean McVay's right-hand man. And Jimmy Haslam was not sold on Scheelhaase when that was kind of the recommendation being pushed to him from the entire search committee. He decides to go completely opposite of what the hell did you pay the search committee for? Like, these are basic things, and I'm still getting crap from the video that we posted earlier this week. I think it was on Monday, about the Dodgers situation, and everybody wants to cry poor and this, that, and the other thing. Here's a guy who's spending money to have people advise him what to do to help his franchise, and then completely ignoring it. Like, that to me is the prototypical, we have no effing clue what the hell we're doing. And it sucks because there are passionate sports fans in the city of Cleveland. That is a fantastic sports city. And all you do is you continue to literally pull your pants down, leave a brown on them, take a dump on your entire fans. Everything about this, like, what makes you excited to go watch the Cleveland Browns next year after this? I have no sympathy, no tolerance for billionaires that are idiots, and Jimmy Haslam is right at the top of the list.
Yeah, I don't know what they're. I mean, unless they're trying to, unless the Browns think that their defense is fine and they're trying to do something with the offense, but bro, they're gonna have to do a lot better. Todd Monken ain't gonna save this offense. They need skill players stat. This team is not very good at the best positions on the offensive side. And look, I do want to say this though, and I talked about it with some buddies in a group chat the other day when we talked about how Shedeur Sanders is kind of a Pro Bowler. Like, let's give the guy some credit. He took the opportunity and he ran with it.
He did.
When he could have just, been like, I was supposed to be the first pick and I wasn't, so I'm going to take my ball and go home. He's taken the opportunity to learn and get better. So good for him. I have nothing against that at all. I hope he does great, but I don't know about this coach.
Yeah, and Mac, it'll be interesting because Jim Schwartz is still under contract with the Browns and has said he wants out. Monken wants him to stay, but I can't blame him for wanting out. And Jim Schwartz is going to be number one on everybody's list that needs a defensive coordinator. And if you're a defensive coordinator right now for another team, I'm a little nervous right now if you haven't been quite getting the job done over the last couple of years, because Jim Schwartz is out there. And I said this, I think, Mac, you and I were talking about this not that long ago. If I'm Kyle Shanahan right now and I decide not to go internal with Gus Bradley to replace Robert Saleh, I'm going right to the defensive coordinator that's twisted me up in knots, because the other one I can't get because he's about to coach his team in the Super Bowl and Mike McDonald.
No, absolutely. I mean, when you have good people, you want, there are a lot of teams right now that are trying to fill out their coaching rosters. I mean, so there's not a shortage of jobs that he's going to have to go. He could even just go to Pittsburgh if he wanted to. I mean, that's not going to happen, but it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Speaking of plenty of teams that need coaches, I asked Mac this question last night. I'll ask you again. Have you gotten any spam calls in the last 24 hours? And if you have you answered any of them?
I'm looking right now at my phone, and I can say that I received 3 spam calls in the last 24 hours. Actually, 3 spam calls in the last 7 hours, and I did not answer any of them.
Well, I would advise you the same career advice I provided to Vegas Mac last night. If your phone is ringing, answer it, because the Jets might be calling because they need coaches literally everywhere. The offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, we'll get to in a second, passing game coordinator, quarterbacks, defensive line, linebackers, assistant defensive backs, defensive assistants times 2. The New York Jets have no idea what the hell is going on in New York, and I know that's not a surprise to anybody because, hey, it's the Jets. They did make a hire to Aaron Glenn's staff today. Brian Duker is the new DC. Aaron Glenn still likely to call the defense in New York. The Jets coming off of a season, the first team in NFL history not to intercept a pass in the entire season. Duker comes over from Miami. He is their new defensive coordinator. He has no play calling experience. Obviously, that doesn't matter in this situation. It's kind of funny because Aaron Glenn at the Combine last year, Mac, went through this whole spiel about taking time and why they hadn't filled out the coaching staff to get the right guys, and camaraderie is just as important as communication, yada, yada, yada. Well, you hired every one of the wrong guys because you blew them all out. And they even, allegedly, depending on where you read, tried to make an attempt to talk John Gruden into coming to New York to be the offensive coordinator for the Jets. First of all, Glenn, John Gruden is not going to come back to the NFL if he does to be anybody's coordinator. So pipe dreams are always good dreams, but they're exactly that. They're pipe dreams. This Jets situation, they have a head coach, but it's a complete dumpster fire, as it usually is with the Jets.
Yeah, here we go again, right? It's like, the bottom of the barrel is what we're talking about here in the NFL, and they just they can't seem to get it right. I mean, and again, you're asking guys to do something that they haven't done, and that's part of the problem. I mean, Glenn has never had to put together a staff before. It's got to be a difficult thing. And I mean, and so I mean, I just wonder, like, how much support and help do these guys get when they're really trying to put their staff together? I mean, from the organization. I mean, is it truly like his call? Is it, is the owner in his ear and saying, okay, we kind of would like you to go in that direction? I mean, I mean, to me, I think that would probably be one of the hardest jobs, is to kind of fill out your staff.
Yeah, but the owner there, we've seen what he did. We saw what he did this year about, meddling in with the quarterback situation and like, dude, that's when you have a stack of FU money that you can own a sports team. You take some of that FU money and you go, you know what? You're great at this. Go be great at this. Go do this. Go put this team together. Go tell Aaron Glenn what he should do. Go get the player. And you stay out of it, man. You stay out of it. And that's what really good owners do. They come down once in a while, and if things are going great, you give all the credit to the players. And if things are going badly, you take some of the blame. And that's about all. Like, we shouldn't even see you if you're a really good owner. We shouldn't see you at all. But here we are.
Connection issues. Turn your friggin' sound off, Mackenzie. Jesus. It's interesting, though, because Aaron Glenn came out. Jesus. I don't even know what to do with him sometimes. Aaron Glenn came out and he said he wanted to be a CEO-style coach and let his coordinators call the plays. And, like, we have to put this in proper context. None of us ever want to see somebody get fired, especially a coach, because there's the people that you don't think about this that really are the ones that end up suffering. The coach gets his massive buyout, this, that, and the other thing, and moves on with his life. But that low-level assistant coach, that quality control guy, all those guys, their families have to move and they have to find new work. And I get it. It's part of what you sign up for when you get into this industry. But at the same time, it's like, dude, what are we doing here? And I can't see this thing in New York getting Aaron Glenn more than 3 years.
I can't see it getting more than 8 games at this rate. I mean, like, who wants to? We talk about desirable jobs and places that you want to play, like Las Vegas, New York, Cleveland, Arizona have all got to be in the bottom 5. They just have to be, because it's just dysfunction city. And you talk about the Dodgers and how the Dodgers are, dude. Everybody wants to play there because it's such a great organization. They take 2 charter planes on every road trip with all the personnel now. 2 charter airplanes. Everybody wants to be there. They're doing everything the right way. These other teams they foul up a peanut butter sandwich, man.
I mean, I think it's the same thing like I was saying before. You're asking a coach who hasn't done this before to do something different, and I think, we're seeing, like, in this Jets situation, they had Robert Sala there. He tried it. It didn't work. Now they brought in another new coach, and it's not working as well. So I mean, I don't understand what the Jets are doing, because again, it seems like from the very beginning the hire is, I don't know if it's the wrong hire, but it's like the support that they're getting isn't there. That's the only way I can kind of see it. It's like there's no, you're asking a coach to do something that he's just not capable of doing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem. And again, Mac, you've said this plenty of times. This is why the same teams are in the same damn position every freaking year. And I know you specifically have a couple of really good friends that are huge Jets fans and have been through it. Mac, I know you know Jets fans. We all do. I mean, it's like, to going into next season knowing that you're going to suck yet again. And it's like, oh, well, we could get Arch Manning. We could get one of these top quarterbacks, which is obviously a position. It doesn't friggin' matter. No. When whoever they draft next year, and we're going to assume that they're going to have a top 5 pick next year, because I think that's probably the safest bet you could make right now. You're just going to throw that kid out with a poor offensive line, not a whole lot of skill players on the shitty turf at MetLife. The Giants, with all things considered here, you would assume are going to be on more of an upward trend with John Harbaugh there just out of default. So again, you're going to be the laughing stock of New York. Now, the Yankees offseason is going to rival laughing stock of New York, but we know the expectations for the Yankees and Jets are different. I just can't imagine. This is a dick move, but I'm going to do it. I just can't imagine, T, going into a football season of being a fan of a team that you know is not going to be any good. Like, what you go through in that, and it's not to pick on you, but it kind of is, because you've been dealing with the same thing for a long time as a Raider fan.
It's like, and I usually say this, right? I usually say I love hockey because it comes at the perfect time, because by the time the Raiders are irrelevant, it's hockey season. And it takes 3 or 4 weeks, and then I'm like, I don't have to waste my time with this crap anymore, because I just don't. And you're right. It literally just gets to a point where you're just like, oh, it's Sunday. Look at all this cool crap I get to do, because I don't have to watch this horse crap on the television. So it's super frustrating. And then, I mean, and then you just wait, right? You just wait, and you're like, oh, it'll be next year. We're Bruno Caboclo again. Like, the Bruno plan, just forevermore in Las Vegas, in New York.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal. Obviously, we'll have plenty of stuff as the NFL draft not far around the corner. NFL free agency will be here before you know it. Obviously, next week we'll get more into the nuts and bolts of the big game in Santa Clara, which that's interesting numbers coming in. We're going to talk about a little bit of that later, but it is Wednesday, so that means, of course, it is time to puck around and find out. Feel free to comment along if you're watching along. Those of you that are meandering your way over due to our situation with the fine folks at Meta who won't respond to a damn thing, and our Facebook page is still being down, so we appreciate everybody. A lot of positive comments after last night's show. Yeah, it's inconvenient for all of us here, but we appreciate you guys that are all making your way over here. Evan Bouchard had quite the night on Saturday, guys. He drops a 6-point game for the Oilers, and then one of his own teammates said, "Hold my beer," the next night. We've talked about this a lot, guys. This Oilers team, we were waiting for them to wake up, and right now it looks like they're starting to wake up, Mac. It's been a lot of fun, at least over the last 7 days in Edmonton, and it started Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. This is a fun team. We know that they can put the biscuit in the basket. That's what we like to do. But listen, you all of a sudden, you start to look at the standings, and guess who's creeping up there. 62 points they've got now, right? They got off to a bad start, and there you go. Edmonton is right there. Edmonton and Vegas, they're gonna battle for that Pacific Division crown. I honestly, it's kind of interesting. I know we're going to talk a little bit about Vegas, but it's one of those things. They both have a deficiency in the net. I still feel that's going to be a problem for both these teams.
I think it's especially a problem for Edmonton right now because they even made a move and it's still not working. I would expect to see Connor Ingram get more games here down in the next week or so. I mean, this is a guy who the Arizona picked up off the scrap heap and kind of like added to that list of players who resurrected their careers in the desert. And then, he has the issues in Utah and takes the time off. And like, I see no reason why you just don't line up Ingram for as long as you can. Vegas is rolling with 3 goaltenders now on their roster. Like, that's kind of a problem because eventually you get to a point where you got to pick 2. And
exactly.
And so, yes, I completely agree. But I think with Vegas, I think some of that deficiency is going to be eliminated as soon as Rasmus Anderson gets into the fold a little bit. And as soon as they get completely healthy, I think you're going to see an entirely different Vegas. Like Vegas right now, the reason why they're in first is because they're the best loser in the NHL. They have 13 overtime losses. So they have 13 points from that. They are definitely the best losers in the NHL.
Bouchard in that game on Saturday night became the 3rd or the 4th defenseman in NHL history of at least 3 goals and 3 assists in a single game, joining Bobby Orr, who did it 3 times, Tom Bladen, and Doug Crossman. What you got there for me, Max? Sorry about that.
No, I was going to say, a good friend of mine once was talking about football, and he said, if you have 2 quarterbacks on your team, how many quarterbacks do you have? I think it's the same for goaltenders, right?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have a 1A and 1B of sorts, but you should have a guy that's going in there 55 to 60 times a season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we mentioned, hold my beer moment for the Oilers. They go out in their next game on Monday and they put a 7 spot on the Ducks, beating them 7-4. Matthias Ekholm added a hat trick, 3 goals, back-to-back defenseman hat tricks for the Oilers. It also brought up kind of an interesting number here. That hat trick by Ekholm on Monday, 27th hat trick in 26 days of January. And T and I were talking before the show to kind of see where everything's at. Last night, we had another hat trick by Rasmus Dahlin. That gave us 28 hat tricks in 27 days of January. Goal scoring has been a hell of a lot of fun to watch right now. And we've got some interesting stuff because we know we have the break coming in here for the Olympics, and I think it's kind of an interesting time. And one of the things we are going to talk about is a couple of teams that we're going to keep our eye on before we lead into the break. But another one of those teams that you guys both had kind of alluded to there, the Vegas Golden Knights, who are on a road trip right now that's been, well, kind of interesting, to say the least, in how it started on this particular trip for the Knights here. Obviously we think the race should be and likely will be in the Pacific, Vegas and Edmonton, as you alluded to, Mac, here. But this Knights team, I can't quite put my finger on just who in the hell they are. They go 4-3, they lose to the Bruins. 6-3, they beat the Leafs. 7-1, they get blasted by the Senators. 3-2, they lose to the Canadiens. Their next game is tomorrow. Against Dallas. That game on ESPN+. I don't know what to make of this Vegas team, and you guys both alluded to it. The goaltender issue, definitely a thing. They are the most Jekyll and Hyde team rolling for me right now, and I can't quite put my finger on them. I've told myself, stay away from betting them right now because I don't really know who they are, Mac.
I see Vegas as a team that doesn't care about the regular season. I know we've said that about teams before, but I truly feel that they have such a plethora of veteran players that I just feel as though they're just like, gosh, let's just get into the tournament. I just feel that they just don't have that urgency. There's no reason for them. I mean, win the Pacific. Now, don't win the Pacific. I don't think it matters to them. I just think they have so many veterans who are just like, just get us on in, and if we get in, then we're going to turn it on.
Well, that's exactly it. They don't care as long as they can get home ice in the first couple of rounds. They really don't care. They'll play anybody anytime. But I mean, this team has not been healthy at all. Like the entire team has not been healthy all season. Now Howden's out, Sisson's out, Hart's out, McNabb is out. That McNabb injury is a lot bigger than people think because he was in the top 4 of defensemen, and now he's out. So you're relying on guys like Lazan to come in there. They can't. They had Megna up for a while, but now he's back down. So this team has not been healthy at all. They finally got Theodore back. I think the Olympic break for Vegas is coming at a perfect time because they can just get healthy.
And that's kind of been a problem with Vegas in the last couple of years. It's been their health. They always seem like they have guys that are not 100%, through the season, and then they kind of bring them back at the end. We kind of joke about that a little bit, but it really does seem to be a continuing problem for Vegas.
Yeah, it definitely does, and it's gonna. I mean, I do think you're right. We've talked about this a few times, like. We talked about it specifically with the Warriors coming off of their last title and the Celtics, like teams that just look like they're bored in the regular season and they know when to turn it on. And it really is just kind of a skill in general here. And, some other news around the NHL, the Stadium Series game, February 1st, coming up here, 6:30 Eastern. Puck drop from Tampa, where they have tents up over the ice to make sure the ice doesn't turn into a swimming pool. Am I the only one watching this thing hoping that it turns into an utter disaster? So we put Stadium Series games and Winter Classic games in places that they actually should be, because I kind of want to see this thing just turn into a giant swimming pool in Tampa. Maybe it's just me.
Well, I think that would definitely add to the ambiance. I think that would be super cool. But, I think the outdoor game is kind of jumped the shark here. They were cool to watch at first. It was nice to come out of a lockout and let's have some innovation. We got the shootout. So finally, when you leave, somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. Let's do an outdoor game on January 1st. Oh, that first one was incredible. The Buffalo-Pittsburgh, that I think went to a shootout in the snow. That was great. But now we're starting to just do these things just to do them. And they're losing a lot. I mean, you could look at the ratings. People just aren't watching it anymore. And the thing that people forget is these games all count in the standings. So this is all this pomp and circumstance. The Lightning are playing for 2 points this weekend in this game. 2 points that they really, really need because they're in a dogfight with the Red Wings. So, like I said, they're nice and all, but I think the time is done. I think they're done.
Yeah, I think so also, and it's definitely a thing. Like, we need these games to at least be in places where we don't have to tent the effing ice to hope it doesn't turn into a pool, Mac. Whoa. I said his name. Say his name and he disappears. We'll try and get Mac back on here. I don't know what happened there.
That was just like, see you later. Maybe he's on his way to Tampa. He's got to get to the airport or something.
Morphed her. I don't know. It literally went black. That's never happened to us before. Artemi Panarin of the Rangers, not in the Rangers lineup tonight. Doesn't really matter because they're getting blasted again by the Islanders. 5-2 as we get ready to start the third there. Columbus up 3-1 on Philadelphia. Ottawa up early on Colorado. But the Rangers are going to leave Panarin out of the lineup for the remainder of the time before the freeze and their game against Carolina on the 5th, which is before the Olympic break as well, for quote roster management purposes, i.e. we're getting rid of this guy and need to get him out of town. He's in the last year of a 7-year, $81.5 million deal. He can become an unrestricted free agent on July 1st. That contract does include a full no movement clause. Chris Drury told Panarin earlier this month the team is not planning to offer him a new contract. There's Vegas, Mac. Like Artemi Panarin, just kind of disappeared. Are you okay there? Why is Tigger getting involved in this?
I needed a hug. I don't know what's going on.
You went black into the black hole, into the abyss. You were just gone. We were talking about
gracious.
the Rangers shutting down Panarin here. Last year, the deal, they're not going to offer him a new deal. I think a lot of people are going to be looking for his services come deadline time, T.
Yeah, he's top on my trade list right now because of that reason. He's a UFA. He's still producing at a great clip for this Ranger team that is just completely underperformed this season. And now, the team that leads the league in handing out letters to season ticket holders was at it again a couple of weeks ago and said, "Oh, we're going to do a retool here." And I think that I think they have quite a bit of buyer's remorse in this deal, which JT Miller came out this way, and that huge thing. I think that's it's turning into an albatross now. They extended him, they make him the contract, they make him the captain, and this team they got old, man. They got old.
What the heck is going on with New York sports? That's my question.
Well,
I mean, you got the
we
Rangers.
Got John Harbaugh.
Yeah, I mean, you get the Rangers and the Devils. We'll throw them in there. They're kind of the Knicks are all right, but other than that, the rest of the sports in New York are just. I mean, when you want to throw in the Sabres were the best thing going in New York right now. I mean that's
spreading the blues.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of smoke already before the Yankees even start spring training. There's a lot going on there. Just a rough time in New York.
Yeah, and they also the Rangers too. T. I mean, I forgot about this. On Monday, they sent Carson Soucy to the Islanders, who are beating their ass today as well.
Well, I mean, it sells newspapers, right? So, and it gets people on the talk shows. So that's all good. But I think it's not fair to put this all on Mike Sullivan. This is his first year. He's kind of letting this thing play itself out. I think you'll see in the offseason a team with some draft capital, get some prospects into the system, sign some good, not like I wouldn't expect him to see Panarin type deals, but some good, solid free agents to help build this team into Mike Sullivan's identity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's like, I mean, I'm really disappointed in the Rangers this year. I mean, I didn't think they were going to be, cup contenders, but I didn't think they were going to be this bad. I mean, this is a huge disappointment for the Ranger fans.
Yeah, it absolutely is. All right, Olympic break is coming up here, and we've talked about this a lot because it is a factor here. And for some of these teams that are playing good hockey right now, the Olympic break is coming at the worst possible time. For other teams, it's coming at the best possible time here. So around the table a little bit, let's look at a couple of teams. Who do you have your eye on here as they finish the pre-break and coming out of the break? Who are you watching the most? Let's start with T in the middle, then Mac, then me.
In the East, I'm looking at the Buffalo Sabres. I'm all in on this team. This team got criticized for the past 14 years. They send Peterka off to Utah. They get Doan and Kesselring back. People are like, "Oh my God, we sent Peterka off." This trade has turned out great for both teams. Lindy Ruff is saving this franchise right now, and the Sabres have the third highest goal differential in the Eastern Conference at +20. They're in third place in the division at the latest time in the season in 14 years. This team is fun to watch. And now they have a big decision to make on Alex Tuck, because he was originally, before they went on this run, they were like, well, we're going to get him ready to trade him. Now they might have to extend him because this team is playing so well. So Buffalo in the East. In the West, Nashville. Nashville's starting to play a little bit better. This team that won the offseason a couple of years ago and then just crapped the bed, looked like they were in for a repeat performance, but they're playing a lot better now. They're 4 points out of a wild card. This team's getting good goaltending, and Stamkos has just been on a absolute tear. So interested to see if they can keep this up.
Mm-hmm. Mac, who you got? Who you got your eyes on into and out of the Olympic break?
I'm going with the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, they're right there in the Atlantic. I mean, 1 point behind Tampa Bay, but listen to their schedule the rest of the way to the break. Winnipeg, we'll take that one, but after that, Minnesota, Colorado, Washington, Colorado, and Utah. Like that is like for a team that's playing really, really good. And it's gonna be interesting. we all have been there when, we're close to a break. We're close to, having a little bit of time off. You wonder how these guys are like, oh man, we're almost there. We're going to have a little break. Some of them have probably know they have like little vacations planned and they're going to get away with their family and whatnot for a little bit. And like, man, that is a huge, huge way to end your season for a team that's has surprised, I think, everybody so far this season. That's a rough little end of the stretch right there.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, I mean, and the other team, I mean, and they're not playing really, really well. In fact, they're not playing well at all. But I was looking at the schedule, but they're playing a lot of the teams that are contending. So I took it from that perspective, and that's Ottawa. They have Colorado, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Carolina, and Philly. All at the end. So it's not so much Ottawa that you're like, oh, they need to win these games to be competitive. It's that they're playing a lot of teams that are contending and they could become a factor in those teams that are contending.
Yeah.
They just, I watched that game the other night. They rinsed Vegas. They rinsed. Holy smokes. This
absolutely blasted them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw them the game before when Carolina played them, and Carolina took the screws to them. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things. It's certain teams. I think this is going to be a grave, like just horrible break to take here. Other teams, I think it's coming at the perfect time. For me, I'm talking about the wild card race in the Western Conference here. And it's basically the entire Pacific Division outside of Vegas and Edmonton, and then throw Utah in there. Utah at a plus 21 goal differential right now. And it doesn't sound like much, but when you compare it to the rest of the Western Conference, obviously Colorado blowing the doors off of people at a plus 76. Then you get into Dallas at a plus 19. The third highest goal differential in the Western Conference is Utah. So I'm looking at these teams with Anaheim, Utah, Los Angeles, Seattle, and San Jose. Like, the race for the third spot in the Pacific and those two wild card spots, I think, is going to be incredible because, obviously, if you use the Sharks for an example, they are 1,000% geared by Macklin Celebrini and what he does on the ice. Can they get other guys to keep playing the supporting roles? Los Angeles, the in and out of Darcy Kemper is not helping anything for them. We've talked about them a lot. They're old. Whether they can stay in this race or not, it'll be interesting. I think that wild card race and that third spot in the Pacific are going to be absolutely compelling hockey down the stretch.
And don't give up on the Kraken just yet. The hot rumors right now are that they're shopping Shane Wright, and a landing spot for him has been rumored to be Winnipeg. And if they got Cole Perfetti out of Winnipeg to Seattle, that's a really good move for the Kraken. Dude, I still think Utah's smoke and mirrors right now. I think their forward group is fantastic. I think their defense is very sketch outside the top four. And can anybody check on Ryan Smith's other toy? They're 13th in the West.
I will be very much checking on Ryan Smith's other toy if Con Knipple hits 2 more 3-pointers in his game tonight, just for wagering purposes here. Thank you, Luca Garza, who already got me my points. That guy has been printing money for me, Mac, and I hate to say this publicly but his over-under on points tonight was 9.5 early. It dropped down to 8.5. The dude had that at halftime. So, Con Knipple, I'm looking at you, bro. 1 for 4 from the 3-point line. We just need 2 more, and then the other toy of Ryan Smith will get blasted by the Warriors tonight. We'll talk more about the NBA and what's going on in those circles a little bit later in the week. 2-1 Ottawa, Colorado in the second, almost at the end of the second period here. So plenty of stuff to keep an eye on. Obviously, we'll keep you posted. I wanted to ask you guys this before we went into a couple other things here. What's your level of interest and excitement for the Milan Cortina? Hey, we built the rink. Are you excited to watch Olympic hockey, Teeth and Mac?
I'm excited to watch it because it'll be the only thing on, but it's not the same without the Russians. It's not. You look at all the. I mean, you look at Demidov, who's a Calder Trophy candidate. You look at all the great Russian players that are Michkov, and it's just not the same without him.
What the hell is he doing now?
He's gonna go get his balalaika and start playing or something.
What the hell do you have now?
It's not the same. It's not the same. Okay, that's why it's not the same. Right there. That's why it's not the same.
Apparently, the doc that's out on the Miracle on Ice team is fire, like straight fire.
I've heard that too.
Yes,
that's going to be on my watch list for this weekend for sure.
I mean, I agree 100% with T. It's kind of like it's one of those things. It's kind of cool, but for me, if I'm going to watch the Olympics, I'm going to watch some of those other sports that I don't like. Curling. I'm all in on curling. Luge.
Well,
like
they have special viewing times just for curling this year. I can't be more excited about it.
I mean, that's what we're talking about. Like, who doesn't want to watch a good downhill race where you just, somebody could just make it to the ABC Wild World of Sports cover for this century, right? Like, that's what we're looking for. Like, we're looking for
Jamaica,
that kind of stuff.
We have a bobsled team.
But I
love bobsled, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the luge for me is the best. Like that and the skeleton, those are the event, that and the curling. That's what gets me right there. That's like the best stuff. But I mean, the hockey's good, but it's okay.
If you've never curled before, you are missing out. I just think
I haven't. I haven't.
Oh man, you've got it. It's the best.
We might have to create the Mike Arana Show curling tournament here.
There you go.
Soon. Watch me break my friggin' leg trying to.
You've never even been on ice, have you? Have you ever been on ice?
Oh,
before?
I've been on ice, dude. I can't skate to save my effing life, dude. That's what amazes me. Like when I watch every year when I watch the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's the same thing for me. In the studio here, surround sound full on, like everything's coming through the TV. I'm sure the wife hates it because the volume goes up to like 60 during the Stanley Cup playoffs. And just like, I'm watching these guys and going, I can't even friggin' skate, man. Like, this is absolutely impressive. And you got to remember, like growing up, I was 11 years old when the Sharks arrived in San Jose. So hockey wasn't a thing. We used to get the Kings games piped up from Los Angeles, and then obviously San Jose got a hockey team, and street hockey was the thing for. I can't rollerblade, I can't roller skate, I can't ice skate. I'm the dumbass at 40-something years old that needs a little like crutch out there to help me ice skate because and at this point in my life it'd be broken this, broken that, can't move for 3 weeks. Like, yeah, I can't do shit on skates. Let's talk about some way too early things to talk about here, but something we didn't get to on last Thursday's show. Talked about some of the landscape of college football going into next season and maybe some way too early picks, teams that we like, so forth and so on. Obviously, there's a long time to go. There's still guys in the transfer portal, as we've talked about a couple of times here. Rosters starting to take shape. A lot of chaos, as always, in college football. I'm jacked for two reasons. Number one, I saw, now that we're seeing some of the schedules for next year coming out, incredible stuff. Like Indiana playing back-to-back games with Michigan and Ohio State next year. Arizona State's schedule, very interesting, I saw. And the most interesting thing that I saw on Arizona State's schedule, the Bows are coming to Tempe to play Arizona State next year. That is a game already I want to go to. And you guys know, we've talked about this a few times, my lack of wanting to go to sporting events now just because I remember my first beer and the first time I acted like an a-hole in public when I had too many beers. And I just, like, I have no tolerance for it anymore. Hawaii at Arizona State next year, I might actually drive all the way down to the shit show that is Mill Avenue and watch Kenny D and Timmy Chan going after each other. Let's talk about some Heisman stuff because you can make bets already on Heismans for next year. We have an interesting list here. I laid it all out. Max guy, Malachi, Tony from the Hurricanes at a plus 2,700. Is there anybody on the Heisman list, guys, that you look at kind of going into next year that jumps off the page to you from this list that we got? And I'll start with you, Vegas Mac, because you're the one that probably has one that's not even listed in these top 12s that you're all over. So a couple of value guys I like here. I'm really interested to see what happens with Notre Dame next year, if they're on this Warpath redemption tour and if they're going to just blow the doors off everybody. I think losing Jeremiah Love is a lot to replace there. CJ Carr is going to be at the top of every Heisman list with Arch Manning. I like, as much as I don't trust his head coach, really like this early in the process, Jade Mayava at a plus 2,000, the USC quarterback. I think he's a guy that could be in the mix. But again, Lincoln Riley's his head coach. Are there any other guys on that list of early Heisman picks that jump off the table or off the page to you, Teeth and Mac?
Interested to see what happens with Sam Levitt. He kind of catches my eye a little bit. Not sure if John Mateer is really that good of a value right now. I don't think I think he's gonna fall off. But what's interesting is that Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sayin are both at plus 1,100, and it seems like one has to feed off the other in order to be successful. And I think that they're just good enough to cancel each other out.
I do 100% agree with that. Mac, what do you got? What are you liking on there?
I'm going with Dante Moore. I mean, listen, he had really good numbers this year. I mean, you just know he's going to have another really, really good year. And I think this year, we saw a lot of the quarterbacks like, didn't really have like super, like, video game numbers to win the Heisman. They had good numbers, but I just think that this could be a year where Dante Moore just kind of completely goes off. I mean, I'm buying into the Oregon, like this might be the year, or if not this year, it's coming up. But I can just see him having an absolute phenomenal year, because I think in his mind he's got the bad taste in his mouth from the last game that they played. I think this is going to be a very motivated Ducks team.
T's got an early out tonight. T will be with me on Lunchtime Live tomorrow. T, do you have any final things you want to say to the fine audience of the Mike Arana Show this evening?
I'm only here because I don't want to get fined. So,
dude, the
nice.
Signing Marshawn for a contract to only run the ball from the 1 yard line, redemption, all those, like the jokes are not going to get too old for me, especially this week. And we've talked about it a lot, T. You and I talked about it specifically. Like, we're not going to sit here and dive into breaking down the Super Bowl this week. There's no point. There's a whole nother damn week for us to break down the Super Bowl. But those jokes I'm having a hell of a lot of fun with right now.
Oh, well, and when we figured out that was going to be the matchup, that was the first thing I thought of was, well, are you going to give it to Kenneth Walker at the 1 yard line this time, or who's going to throw the ball now? Like the jokes write themselves, and rightfully so. I think that Coach Allen, if he had one regret, I think that's the thing. Well, two regrets, taking the Vegas job in the first place. But I think if you asked him, he would say in a heartbeat he should have ran the ball there.
Yeah, absolutely. So T will be with me tomorrow on Lunchtime Live as per usual on Thursdays. For now, T be gone. And T is gone.
He's gone, just like that.
Now I'm stuck with you again. What
I know.
Gosh,
all
right,
man,
let's talk about said Super Bowl, though, Mac. As it's not too early to start looking at some things and some factors for the game. I think, and we talked about this a lot, any way the cards could have fallen on the table, whether it was Rams-Broncos, whether it was Seahawks-Broncos, whether it was Rams-Patriots, I don't think we would have had a bad matchup either way. Now that we know what the matchup is, a lot of people are talking, starting to get ready for it. We've got some Super Bowl food facts and all that fun stuff for you next week. What generally, and I'll start with T's, the question that we have here on the rundown is, how does this matchup rate on your watchable schedule or scale? And T said, it's not my preferred choice, but this should be entertaining, which is kind of where I was with it. I'm warming up to it. And I think a lot of that just comes from two things here. Number one, I've talked a lot this year about the Patriots and comparing them to last year's Commanders with a better defense. The other thing is I've talked a lot about Mike McDonald for the last 2 years, and yeah, I do feel a little validated here. So I think the Seahawks against what is the underdog Patriots in this, which sounds really weird, but if you're looking at the numbers, it's still 4.5 in favor of Seattle. What do you think of the matchup? How does this matchup rate on the Vegas Mac watchability scale?
I think it's really great. There's a lot of intriguing pieces to it. I mean, we've got teams that haven't been there. I mean, yeah, the Patriots have been to the Super Bowl a lot, but not recently, and not in this configuration either. This is a different Patriots team than the ones that won before. So it's kind of different. I think it's a great matchup. I mean, I think there's a lot of ways to kind of look at this and kind of break it down. The first thing that I kind of looked at is, this Seattle defense, such a good defense. Can this young Patriots offense find a way to manufacture something against such a good defense? That's the first thing that comes to my mind, because here's the bottom line. If they can't, then Seattle, from an offensive standpoint, doesn't have to do a lot. So, there's going to be a lot on that Patriots offense to, again, as they've done, make use of the chances that they have.
Mm-hmm. I think that's exactly it. And, when we look at this here, it's never too early to look at this. Let's look at some X factors as we get forward to this game. And I'll give T's here since he's not here. And he's got two. Number one, Robert Spillane. We know that's T's guy from his Raiders days. Really a catalyst for New England on that defensive side. And Mac Hollins, who we saw make an appearance in the AFC title game after being injured, and they went to him right away. Veteran receiver, the confidence. He's also got Kenny Walker of Seattle and the Seattle linebackers down there. For me, my X factor, and I'm going to stay on the same side of the page when it comes to the Seahawks, Mac, and that's Nick Emmanwori, because he does so many things for that Seattle defense. Again, I think he should be the defensive rookie of the year. If you're saying I'm biased because I have a bet on him, that's fine. But to me, the competition is Nick Emmanwori and Carson Schlesinger of the Browns. And to me, a guy who's an impact player on a defense for a team that's in the Super Bowl, and I know these are regular season awards, but to finish the regular season, Seattle was on a 7-game winning streak, and Nick Emmanwori was a huge part of that. He doesn't have the tackle numbers that Schlesinger has, but he's got everything. Deflected passes, sacks, interceptions, fumble recovery, it's forced fumbles. The dude is all over the field, and I think probably the most underrated part of the Seahawks defense outside of Ernest Jones. When I'm flipping to the other side of the table, I'm looking at the Patriots offensive line as an X factor here, because we know the Seattle defense doesn't blitz a lot, but they generate a shit ton of pressure. And that Patriots offensive line has been good at times, but not consistently good all year. And what kind of pressure is Drake May going to be under? So Nick Emmanwori and the Patriots offensive line, for me, what do you got X factor-wise as we look at the Super Bowl matchup?
Patriots is so hard because they're like a mixed bag. Like, you don't really know kind of where they're going to go. And so as I was thinking about that, I'm like, okay, so I really think for the Patriots, they really want to try to get that running game going. I think it is. So for me, I'm like, you know what? We haven't seen him too much. I think the weather had something to do with that as well. But Trevion Henderson, he's a guy that can be a game breaker. He, in one play, can go 80 yards. He can change and flip the game that quick. So for me, that's the guy who I look at the Patriots, because I think he can be a game changer. And we've seen it in the Super Bowl where, there's just that one play that kind of completely changes the scope and sequence of what has been happening. He's that type of player for the Patriots that can flip or change the game on a moment's notice.
Jesus, I wish he would have sent me these earlier. TJ just sent me 3 pictures of him curling. Those are definitely going to get shown on the show here as we get a little closer. I hope you're wrong when it comes to Henderson, because we're going to get into this here in a second, but you're right. And we've talked about this a lot, Mac. There's so many interchangeable parts and pieces that Josh McDaniels gets to use, especially when it comes to the Patriots offense, that they've been a really hard team to bet on this year.
They really are, because you don't know where they got, and that's kind of why I went that way. It's like they haven't used them the last couple of weeks really much in the playoffs at all, and it's kind of like, you just wonder if they're like setting up that one package that they're going to have for him as they go towards the Super Bowl. Like, hey, we've been kind of building towards this is what we're going. And like I said, for me, it's just that we said the X factor. Like, he can break one off in a moment's notice.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to comment along if you're watching along. Couple minutes left here, and then Lunchtime Live tomorrow, Lunchtime Live on Friday. I am going to do Lunchtime Live on Friday from somewhere that you've seen before that is completely different for me. Yeah. Lots of fun stuff to talk about. Let's get into some early looks at Super Bowl MVP. Super Bowl MVP for me, Mac, is always one of my favorite bets to make. I usually, at the beginning of the playoffs, as soon as the markets are available, I'll pick at least one guy off of every team that's a value guy that I like of the teams I think could be there. And then I'll make a couple more. The closest I was to a massive hit was Niners Chiefs in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. I had a bet on Jawan Jennings to be Super Bowl MVP. When theoretically he probably would have been if the Niners won, because he threw one, he caught one.
Right.
I mean, so I'm looking for guys like that. And it's kind of funny that you just brought up Travion Henderson, because when I looked at the odds list for the Super Bowl, obviously Darnold and May are towards the top of the list. And then you've got, the obvious, Kenny Walker, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. I went with Ramondre Stevenson of the Patriots.
Right.
And it's frustrating. I don't have a ton of money on him. It's a crapshoot, anybody you're betting on the Patriots. But he's a 30-1 in some places. I've seen him drop down to 25-1. But I saw it a lot in the game against Denver. How much it seems like they trust him more in a tight situation. You saw the weather. I think he's still, right now, the guy that Vrabel leans on a little bit more from the run game. If he could get loose against the Seahawks defense, which is a big ask, I think at 30-1, I like the value there on Ramondre Stevenson. I'll get teased from him tomorrow on Lunchtime Live. Do you got any guys on your radar for Super Bowl MVP?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, for Seattle, that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. I think Kenneth Walker is, if they win, he's going to be their MVP. I think that, again, I think this is a Seattle team that when I've watched them the last couple of weeks and really seen them at their best, they have their running game in motion. And so I think this is the opportunity to continue that with that running game. I think if he has a really, really big game, I think it's going to open up Sam Donald. It opens up the play action, opens up what he likes to do. That's kind of where I'm going. But I think Kenneth Walker is the thing. They can get him going. I think that opens up everything for Seattle.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And we'll obviously get more into this as we get a little bit closer. All right, a couple pieces of business to attend to here. Well, we haven't said this yet. We haven't told anybody about it. As you know, we start Mike versus Mac every year at the Wasted Management Phoenix Open, which is next week, always Super Bowl week, always a rockin' drunken party out in Scottsdale. And this year should be no different. Mac has beat me 2 years in a row, and I decided to get a little egregious last year. So Mac and I made a bet last year for Mike versus Mac, and obviously it was close. I had a shot late.
You did.
We changed the rules. Mac beat me so bad the first year, we changed the rules to give me a better chance the second year. He still beat me. So why don't you tell the fine folks where you're headed as a result of our bet? And it's not just you that are headed there, because you're not going to see Vegas, Mac.
No,
for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, the fine folks at the show, because I won 2 years in a row, have rewarded me and my family a cruise to the Bahamas and to Kirks and Caicos and to the Dominican Republic.
That'd be Turks and Caicos. If you're looking for a guy named Kirk there, I don't know if you're going to find him.
Kirk. Well,
maybe.
So we're heading out to Orlando this weekend, and next week we'll be on the big boat, and we'll be celebrating 2 years of victory on the boat.
This guy beats me in a golf contest, and he's going to watch the freaking Super Bowl in Kirks and Caicos with some guy named Kirk that he's going to meet for the first time out there on that trip. That's fascinating stuff.
I'm very, I said what really excites me about this, and this is kind of the geek part of me, is that we're going to be leaving from Port Canaveral, which, by the way, is by Cape Canaveral, which right now the Ares 2 is getting ready to launch, going around the moon. I'm so excited. I want to put my eyes on that. Is so geeked out for that right now. It really is. It's
Geeked
kind of
is the right word for it. I don't know if geeked out is how I'd take it, but that's you, not me. So, plenty of fun stuff coming up. Mac is going to be taking a video diary for us on his trip. We will
Kirk.
play that for you with some guy named Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
With some guy named Kirk he hasn't met yet. He's going to take a video diary for us. We will play that after he gets back the week of post Super Bowl week. So we'll have plenty of fun stuff there as well for you.
I got another strange one for you.
Jesus. I don't have enough time for strange with you right now.
Tomorrow night. This is a strange one for me. All right. The Carolina Hurricanes are going to play the Utah Mammoth. This is the first time that they, since I pledged my allegiance to Carolina, that they go up against Utah, which we all know was the old Arizona Coyotes.
Who?
Yeah. And so I saw that and I was like, because they still have some of the same players I'm familiar with and whatnot. And I was like, that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
5:00 tomorrow night, Arizona time, 7:00 on the East Coast from the Lenovo Center, the Utah Mammoth and the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm excited tomorrow night because it's a late start. Conveniently for me, it's 7:00, so this works out really, really well. And I'll tell you why on Friday, why it works out really well. But the Sharks are at the Rogers Place in Edmonton to take on the Oilers tomorrow night. Also tomorrow night, Stars and Golden Knights, as we talked about a little earlier. There's some great hockey on tomorrow. Great hockey. Avalanche and Canadians also 5:00 local start, 7:00 on the East Coast. So a lot of good games tomorrow on the ice. A lot of good games coming up this weekend in college basketball. And obviously we'll get you closer and closer. Here he goes again for something else in his... What the F is... Oh, is that your Kirks and Caicos hat?
I'm all set. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you and the red stripe guy and the Jamaican bobsled team all hanging out together. For everybody behind the scenes. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of people that bust their asses to put us in this position to do this, and we couldn't do it without them. Again, to those of you dealing with this whole disaster from Meta and our Facebook page, we really appreciate it. I can promise you, I am working my ass off right now with our people to try and figure out what the hell is going on. If you're watching and you work for Meta, please reach out because nobody else will contact us. But we really do appreciate you guys finding those alternative ways to stay involved here. So, Mac, I'm gonna let you take us out here because this will be the last time that we see you in this form until like the 12th of February, man. We're getting a Vegas Mac vacation here.
Man, oh man. Well,
take us home, Mac. Take us home.
What are you saying when the boat is leaving? Bonjour or au revoir and sayonara and I got them all. Hey, have a great Super Bowl, everybody.
That's exactly why we're having him do a video diary. We'll talk with you tomorrow. You know the drill.